It's officially May, so today we're talking all about the Witchcraft and Pagan book releases for May 2025. And brace yourself because there are quite a lot. If you've been on my channel before, thank you so much for coming back for another video. If you're new here, hello, my name is Hearth. I'm a practicing witch and I'm passionate about witchcraft books. And every month we talk all about the new releases. Now, I primarily focus on the release dates in the UK and USA because that's where the majority of my audience comes from. But if you want to know when a book is releasing where you are, you can simply search up the name of the book, your location, and then release date, and it should give you that information. And unless otherwise stated, I've not read any of the books in this video. So these aren't recommendations, it's more me letting you know what's coming out, what I'm excited about, and what I'm probably going to give a miss. And as always, there are links in the description box where you can learn more about these books. They are affiliate links, so if you do purchase anything through these links, it does help support the channel. But as always, please always support your in-person and independent bookshops first. They are the people who really need your support, especially during such uncertain times. But I know that that isn't accessible to everyone, and so those links are accessible if you do want to use them. So with that being said, grab yourself a snack, a drink, a cute animal that you can cuddle with, and let's get into this, because it's a lot. Up first, we have a beginner witchcraft book. This is The Witch's Path, A Beginner's Guide to Witchcraft. It's coming out on the 1st of May in the USA, with future dates to come. The Witch's Path offers a nurturing and insightful introduction to the craft, providing you with the tools, knowledge, and confidence to embark on a magical journey of self-discovery and empowerment. Whether you're just starting your magical path or looking to deepen your understanding, this book serves as an essential guide to the foundational elements of witchcraft. So from what I can tell, it covers a range of practices, including crystals and herbs, creating sacred space, honouring the cycles of the moon, a guide through the pantheons, gods, goddesses, and deities and how to work with them, covers the different days of the week and how to implement them best for spell work, as well as the wheel of the year. It offers you the ability to embrace your own unique path, as well as to repurpose everyday items into witchcraft and reconnect with your ancestors. I will say though that if you already have several beginner witchcraft books, you're probably not going to need another one. And if you do have books that you go back to time and time again for correspondences and the like, you're probably not going to need another one either. That's not to say that the book doesn't look interesting or that it won't be beneficial to a lot of people, it's just that you don't need to have 20, 30, 40 beginner witchcraft books. Having a handful of them is a really good way of learning from different people, expanding your magical practice, and then you can grow from there. Once you get to that point, you can then start going into more specialised and targeted topics. I have a lot more than that in my magical collection, but that's because I do teach witchcraft, and I like having a lot of options for beginner witchcraft books for people. But if you're just an individual practitioner, you don't need mass numbers of them. So if you're on the lookout for a beginner witchcraft book, this one could be a good read. But if you already have a lot in your collection, you might want to skip this one and go for something a little bit more specific. We then have one that I am definitely going to read. It's on my to-be-purchased pile. This is Paid with a Kiss, Love and Sex in Fairy Belief. Now, I believe this has already come out in the UK. It's coming out on the 1st of May in America. Paid with a Kiss gives a wide-ranging look at fairies, sex, gender, and human belief through history in Western Europe, focusing primarily on Irish, UK, and French evidence. By examining mythology, folklore, literature, and anecdotes, this book answers common questions of what we know about sex and sexuality among fairies and how they interact with humans, including human-fairy relationships and offspring. Aiming to answer an array of questions on humans, fairies, and intimacy that the author has been asked over the years, Paid with a Kiss is a deep dive into nearly 2 millennia of folk belief. Yes, this one looks so good. I love any book that is going further into like fairy folklore, fairy mythology, and if you're like me, you'll probably like this one too. The one thing I will say though is to just limit your expectations. It's not because I think this book isn't going to be good, but it is only 144 pages long. So it isn't going to go super in-depth into 2,000 years worth of mythology and folklore. Instead, it is just focusing on this set topic. So do bear that in mind, but this is going on my to-be-read pile, definitely. We then have 100 candle spells, beginner candle spells to do at home. It's coming out on May 1st in the US with future release dates to come. 100 Candle Spells is a beautifully structured guide to low magic candle rituals. Simple, powerful, and designed for real life. Whether you're seeking love, protection, abundance, healing, clarity, or closure, this book offers 100 intentionally crafted spells that you can do at home with minimal tools and maximum meaning. Organised into 10 chapters, each spell includes step-by-step instructions, best timing, colour correspondences, and gentle guidance. No complex traditions, no gatekeeping, just flame and focus. Perfect for beginners, burned-out witches, or anyone craving a deeper connection to themselves and their space. This book invites you to slow down, speak your truth, and light your way forwards. Now, as I will say about all spellbooks, if you have a very set tradition and you really like the way that you're doing things, you don't need another spellbook. If you already have lots of spellbooks in your collection, you don't need another spellbook. What these can be useful for, though, are people who are just getting started in candle magic and maybe they don't have any other books on the topic, or they want to expand their understanding of correspondences, learn how to build their own spells from the ground up. Spellbooks can be really useful for that purpose. I'm going to skip this one, mostly because I have a practice that works for me. If it ain't broken, I don't fix it. And so for me, what I have really works. This is a very small book. It's only 71 pages long, but it could be useful if your child is wanting to get into candle magic and you want to be doing spells alongside them. If this is kind of the first toe dip into candle magic, it could be something to look into. We then have one that probably only a few of you are going to be interested in, but I had to include it anyway just because it's a really interesting topic. This is Voyages with the Celtic Saints, Stories and Wisdom for Travellers in Search of Truth. This is coming out on the 2nd of May in the UK with future release dates to come. Voyages into Wisdom recounts the inspired lives of the Celtic saints who carried the torch of the new faith of Christianity to the wild tribes people of Britain and Ireland. Finding many parallels between their own wisdom and that of the Druids and other teachers of the Celtic people, they adapted their own teachings to include and reshape that of older wisdom. It features stories of the lives of 14 inspiring Celtic saints who lived between the 3rd and 7th centuries CE. Scholar John Matthews retells and provides commentary on these stories, making them relevant and accessible to modern readers. Meditation notes and questions at the end of each chapter are for those who wish to deepen their understanding of the stories and question their own voyage. Now, it appears that this is an updated edition, so if you already have an earlier copy, you're not going to need this one. But the reason I wanted to include this is because a lot of our understanding of pre-Christian belief systems doesn't actually come from pre-Christian belief systems. It comes from the documentation and the information that has lived on through other belief systems and through other people. And so I think it's really useful seeing the stories of these individuals that literally broached the old ways with the new ways, and in many cases adapted pre-Christian traditions into a Christian faith so that the local peoples were more accepting of it. And it's this idea that the old lives on through adapted versions of the new that I think is really, really significant, especially when we get a lot of reconstructed traditions. We don't know how a lot of earlier people practiced word for word, practice to practice, but we can see echoes of it in the traditions that were adapted out from it. So this is going to be for anyone who really likes the history aspect of this kind of topic. If you want the witchcraft, this one isn't going to be for you, but there are some later on that are way more witchy. The next one, though, is another kind of history-based one, but it's definitely going in my to-be-purchased pile. Like, this topic is fascinating to me. This is Hallowed Ground, the folklore of churches and churchyards. It's coming out on the 2nd of May in the US and the 25th in the UK. Hallowed Ground examines the surprising traditions, customs, superstitions, and secular imagery found in Christian churches and churchyards, with a particular emphasis on the traditional rural Protestant church. Beginning with stories associated with the construction of church buildings themselves and the role they played in the community, the book moves through a number of subjects where everything might not be as it would seem to be in the Christian church and its grounds. Expect vestiges of pagan symbols hidden in the fabric of church buildings, and clergymen rumoured to hold strange arcane knowledge of their own, kept within their own personal occult libraries. Learn the ways in which you can use the church and its grounds to divine who might die in the next 12 months, where you might find love, and how you might cure illness. Watch out for a number of figures you wouldn't expect to find on such holy ground, from run-ins with the devil to spectral figures inhabiting the church or its graves. Discover some of the ways in which magic and witchcraft seep into the hallowed ground of the churchyard from outside. This book will offer more than a few surprises about the folklore that surrounds the church and churchyard, and a fascinating insight into the social history of our place of traditional Sunday worship, all delivered with the academic rigour and accessible, engaging style for which the author is known. Yes! This is exactly the kind of book that I want to read right now. I think this one could be really interesting for anyone in the UK specifically, because we have a long history of pagan sites being reclaimed for Christian churches. And a lot of the time, the symbolism, mythology, folklore, and belief system of the local peoples doesn't change like you would think it would. Now, throughout the centuries, we have had a lot of religious turmoil, a lot of swinging wildly backwards and forwards. Just think about the Tudor period, where we would swing violently from Protestant to Catholic to Protestant to Catholic, and if you were worshipping the wrong way at the wrong time, you would be imprisoned for it. And this meant that the outward appearance of religion and the inward practice of it wasn't always the same. We also see this when it comes to the fairy faith. People believe in the fairy faith to this day, but even in the 18th and even into the 19th centuries, while people might outwardly express themselves as being Christian, they actually believe in some aspects of an earlier fairy faith tradition, and they kind of bleed together. What people say they were and what they actually did were not always the same thing, and so we see green men in churches, we see the mythology of devils, we see witches' marks, we see protective symbols, we also see mermaids and pictures of mythological beings appearing in churches. There's a lot of witchcraft that to this day is still practiced in churches and churchyards, and so this book is really, really interesting to me. I'm definitely going to be getting this. Like this one and the Sealed with a Kiss, I think that's what it's called, are the ones that I'm definitely so far going to end up getting. Now, I said that there was going to be more witchcraft, and this is very much more witchcraft. This is The Path Within, Ritual Magic and the Gateway to Self-Mastery. It's coming out on the 5th of May in the US and the 25th in the UK. The Path Within is a comprehensive guide to the practice of magic. Designed for both beginners and seasoned practitioners, the book delves into the history and application of various magical disciplines, including ritual magic, meditation, divination, tarot, and more, aiming to lead readers towards personal empowerment and enlightenment. This extensive yet accessible book encourages readers to discover their unique magical path, featuring insights from magical masters and the author's transformative experiences. It's essential for anyone serious about magic. The author begins by distinguishing magic from common misconceptions of mere illusion, defining it as a profound method to influence one's reality intentionally. He explores foundational concepts from notable figures like Aleister Crowley and integrates modern interpretations and practices, emphasizing magic's role in personal development and spiritual growth. The book is structured into chapters that sequentially build a comprehensive understanding of magical practices. It starts with basic definitions and ethical considerations, moving towards more complex rituals and techniques. Each chapter provides not only theoretical knowledge, but also practical applications, encouraging readers to actively engage with the teachings. The author's narrative is interspersed throughout with personal anecdotes detailing his journey, from a troubled youth to a proficient practitioner. These stories highlight the transformative power of magic in real-life scenarios, making the content relatable and inspiring. The inclusion of interviews and insights from contemporary masters of magic enriches the book's content, offering diverse perspective on the historic arts. This one looks actually incredible, but what I will say about it is you have to decide for yourself whether a book like this is going to be worth your time and your money. Now, I say this because when a book is described as being for both beginners and seasoned practitioners, there is going to reach a point in your magical journey when the majority of that book is not going to be a benefit to you. You're going to get to a point where 3/4 of the book is stuff you already know, and you're only buying it for that quarter that you don't know. And so if anything, I think this is going to be more for beginners or those wanting to advance their practice, because then you grow alongside the content of the book. Whereas if you're a really seasoned practitioner, you might find that the majority of this book is just unnecessary for you. So this one looks really good. I would be willing to give it a read, but it is just about deciding whether or not there's going to be enough in there for you. We then have a book for all of the green witches out there. This is Flower Magic, the Secret Language of Flowers. It's coming out on the 5th of May in the US with future dates to come. Flowers have a language all of their own. They speak to us through colours, shapes, and their confident opening to the world. The magic of flowers is everywhere, generous and undeniable, and it reminds us at every moment of the splendour of the magical world. Where words often fail, flowers speak of beauty, emotion, desire, grief, and love. Flower Magic is a brilliantly illustrated tour of the most magnificent, mysterious, and magical flowers nature has to offer, transporting readers into a universe of colour, fragrance, and hidden potential. Here you'll explore the gardens of the psyche, the heart, the sun, the inner child, the wind, and the senses. Every garden has messages and secrets to share for healing, growth, expansion, blessings, cleansing, and more. 2 spellbooks are then being published on the same day, and they're so similar we're going to talk about them together. We have the good Dog Spellbook and we have the good Cat Spellbook. These are both being published on the 6th of May in the US and the 25th in the UK. So let's start with man's best friend, dogs. Many witches want to build a magical relationship with man's best friend, but where does one start on such an endeavour? This spellbook will teach you how to create fantastic works of magic while including your furry companion. Perform divination with your dog, learn their personality through their zodiac sign, and create spells to attract the things you want for yourself and for Fido. The positive and harmless indoor and outdoor spells included will help you build a strong magical relationship between yourself and your pet, deepening your magic in the process. And for cats, it says, a bewitching book all about that old witch's familiar, the cat. The Good Cat Spellbook will help you perform works of magic and divination, all with the assistance of your furry companion. Found within are spells, incantations, charms, and divinatory methods that will help guide you and your cat towards what you both want, be it career achievement or catnip. Learn the fascinating history behind the feline as the witch's familiar, and engross yourself in cat folklore and even astrology. This perfect title, I love that, is just what you need to build your magical relationship with your furry feline friends. Now, for just a moment before we keep going, I do want to say that some of the books in this list are not going to be super accessible to everyone. They might go out of print really quickly, they might sell out really fast, they might be outside of your budget, or they might never actually come to market. You'll likely have seen for several months now the same titles being repeated, and it seems like there's some issues in the printing process that means they're not coming out on time. I'm saying this though because it's really important to remember that your magical practice isn't reliant on the books that you purchase or the books that you have in your library. I really enjoy having a large magical library, but that doesn't make my magical practice better or more successful than anybody else's. It means that I teach witchcraft, and so I need a lot of books in my collection in order to share information, references, and resources. No book is ever worth putting yourself out financially in a way that is detrimental to you. And if you miss one book coming out, I can guarantee another one on a similar topic will be out in a few months' time, and it might even be better suited to you. I would always recommend taking a step back and figuring out whether a book is actually going to benefit you and your magical practice. And maybe it's worth waiting a little bit, checking out some reviews when they start coming in, and then making a decision. And I'm saying all of this because the next book is by Three Hands Press, a publishing house that is very, very difficult to get hold of the books from, so just bear all of that in mind. This is Lexican Lamarium, a lexicon of witchcraft. It's already been released in the UK. I believe it's already really, really hard to find, and it's coming out on the 6th of May in America. The Lexicon of Witchcraft is an illustrated compendium of witchcraft terminology, encompassing rituals, symbols, spirits, objects, and other specialised concepts of witchcraft. Focusing on the European medieval witch and her modern occult legacy, this work contains over 600 terms, many rare or obscure, and also includes the phenomena of contemporary witchcraft practices. There's also supplementary images as well. It's a pricey one, and it's going to be hard to find. So if you can't get hold of a book like this, guarantee it's not going to be the end of the world. Your practice will be totally fine without it. We then have The Call of the Old Gods, My Occult Journey on the Pagan Path. This is coming out on the 6th of May in the US with future dates to come. These are the personal revelations of living a magical life. It examines the rise of paganism in Europe and in the US from the late 20th century, and explores numerous pagan and esoteric practices, such as sacred gardening, breathwork, and many seasonal rites, rituals, and ceremonies. It also includes rare personal accounts of the author's friendship with pagan luminaries and occult scholars. For millions of people, the spiritual journey is focused on a god in heaven. But what if the answers we are seeking lie in the reenactment of life? In this illuminating work, part memoir, part meditation, scholar and pagan practitioner Christopher McIntosh takes readers on a deeply personal quest that led him to paganism, illustrating how forming stronger connections to the world around us awakens the magic that lives within us. This was a time when McIntosh believed that the spiritual path should fulfill 4 centres: the soul, the mind, the heart, and the belly. He later discovered, however, there was a fifth component to his mystical equation, the feet. The land on which we stand and to which we feel a profound relatedness is the key to wholeness and inner peace. These subtle but significant realizations about connection to the land and nature inspired Mackintosh and ultimately led his following of what he calls the fivefold path. He also recounts pivotal meetings with pagan luminaries and important figures from a Stoic scholarship, the arts, and the occult renaissance of the 20th century, as well as offers an evolving portrait of the occult scene of the late 20th century. This one looks really, really good. Actually, it's not the kind of book that I would normally think of picking up, but I feel like this is one for the people who have the beginner books. They want to see how other people practice, where other people come from. This one could be really interesting. Now, this is another one that I think might be more for people who are a little bit more experienced. This is Psychopomps and the Soul, Traversing Death and Life for Healing and Wholeness. It's coming out on May 8th in the US with future dates to come. Featuring a cross-cultural introduction to psychopomps, this book brings light to times of uncertainty and fear that often accompany the process of dying or its living corollary. I'll put it on the screen because I can't pronounce that. The dark that comes from shame and the shadow parts of the self. Wow, that's embarrassing. You'd think I'd be able to pronounce English words, and I can't, apparently. In Psychopomps and the Soul, psychotherapist Tiffany Lazick offers ancient wisdom to ease modern distress around grief and inner darkness. Whether you experience loss through physical death or psychological soul death caused by living inauthentically, Psychopomps, Soul Guides, can provide a toolkit for navigating from unfamiliar liminal space back to peace. Tiffany not only introduces you to psychopomps from cultures around the world, she also acts as a psychopomp herself, sharing personal reflections that illuminate key aspects of the journey out of the dark and back to self. She teaches how to be of service to someone experiencing a similar transition as well. With rituals, meditations, and ceremonies, this book offers tools to guide you through the most challenging times and difficult emotions to find strength and hope. It's one of those, it's not going to be for everyone. Not everyone is going to have experienced this in their life or have need for this right now. But for anyone who wants to learn more, this one looks like it's been done really, really beautifully. Now, next is one that isn't going to be for everyone. It's another of those, like, looking back into history kind of books. This is called High Priest, Raymond Buckland, the father of American witchcraft. This is coming out on May 8th in the US with future release dates to come. Casting new light on one of the first modern self-identifying witches in the US, Jason Mankey invites you deep into Raymond Buckland's life. Known for bringing Wicca to America, Buckland wrote more than 40 titles, placing him among the most prolific occult authors of the time. Drawing on exclusive access to Buckland's unpublished memoirs, personal letters from Gerald Gardner, and personal accounts from fellow authors of the craft, including Silver Ravenwolf, Thorn Mooney, and Selena Fox. Oh, I love Selena Fox. Mankey reveals intimate details of Buckland's remarkable journey, from his Romany roots and his childhood during World War II to his many media appearances and little-known hobbies, such as flying ultralight aircraft. This biography covers it all. Mankey also highlights the Buckland Museum of Witchcraft and Magic and shares various exercises from Buckland's body of work, making this book a practical and fascinating tour de force. Includes a 16-page colour insert featuring photos of Buckland, his family, and memorabilia. This one looks really, really good. I love learning about the people who have created witchcraft as it is today. Now, when we think about Wicca and like the modern revival of witchcraft, we often think of Gerald Gardner. He's known as the father or king of the witches in the UK as being the main driving force behind the witchcraft revival. Now, of course, there were likely many, many more people, and whether all of his information is to be believed or not is up to the individual. But he is known as being like the father of witchcraft in the UK. But the spread around the world happened because of many different people, one of the first of whom being Raymond Buckland. And it's why Wicca ended up so rooted in America as we see it today. And so these people, Gerald Gardner, Raymond Buckland, Aleister Crowley, Doreen Valiente, are really, really significant in the history of the practice that we celebrate and carry out today, even if we don't necessarily know or like them that much as an individual, as we see in kind of Aleister Crowley is one of the most disliked figures within witchcraft history, but he is still really, really significant. And I think learning about these significant people can be really, really powerful. Getting more back into the witchcraft again, this is Dream Sorcery, the Ritual and Magic of Lucid Dreaming. This is coming out on the 8th of May in America with future dates to come. Go from spectator to active magician in your dreams. The author provides everything you need to both develop your lucid dreaming ability and enhance your magic whilst lucid. Unlike other dream guides, this book demonstrates that lucid dreaming is a metaphorical alchemy lab where you can transform your magical practice. Within these pages are nearly 40 exercises for improving your dreamtime divination, healing, energy work, spirit communication, shapeshifting, and more. While lucid dreaming, you can practice ritual actions and feel their energetic effects without the material world's constraints. This book teaches you how to activate pentagrams, glyphs, runes, and the Ogham, and receive their energies firsthand. It also provides spells to cast while awake that make it easier to become lucid while asleep. Now your dream time can rise to new magical heights. Yes, this is one that I think is really good for people who just want to expand their practice, but also people who struggle with energy, with mobility, with dexterity, things that would be constraints in your day-to-day life aren't necessarily constraints when you're doing inner work, astral work, and dream work. So this one for that purpose could be really good. We're then moving into ceremonial magic. This is Modern Hermeticism, a beginner's guide to ceremonial magic. It's coming out on the 8th of May in the US with future dates to come. It's time to claim your inner power and become the best version of yourself with this accessible introduction to the secrets of Hermeticism. The authors guide you through historical and modern magical concepts, such as the Tree of Life, sigils, and god forms, and they present easy-to-digest chapters with extensive techniques and illustrations. Explore more than 30 rituals, exercises, and practices, including the Kabbalistic Cross, elemental meditations, scrying, the Rose Ankh Vortex, the Greater Ritual of the Pentagram, the Pyramid of Power, and the Gate of Transformation. The authors will show you how to use ceremonial magic to access the knowledge, personal power, and freedom that is your birthright. So that one's not for me, mostly because ceremonial magic just isn't for me as a whole. I tend to be a little bit more lower magic. So if you like my style of practice, you might prefer the more lower folk magic style. Whereas if you want something a little bit more ceremonial, this could be a good entryway into it. I don't know mass amounts about ceremonial magic, mostly because my information of it has come from people that I know who practice it themselves, but it could be an interesting one, and if you end up reading it, let us know. Come back and let us know what you think. And actually, feel free to do that about all of the books. In all of the videos that we've done in the past on this topic, if you've ended up getting a book, let us know what you thought of it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you find it a bit meh? Do you have other books that you prefer? Because then when people are going back and they're trying to figure out which books they would like to get, there's a little bit more information in there. This is a book that I can't actually talk very much about, because I will get demonetized, and I would rather not get demonetized. So, as with all of these, the links to the books are in the description box if you would like to check them out. This is 420 Days of Weed Witchery, spells, rituals, and techniques to enhance your practice. I can't really tell you more about that, but I'm sure you know where this book is going, and some of you are going to really like this. We then have The Little Book of Paganism, a modern introduction to ancient spiritual practices. This is coming out on the 8th of May in the UK with future dates to come. From Druidry and shamanism to modern witchcraft and Wicca, paganism is steeped in history, legend, and ancient tradition, and is now one of the fastest growing religions. Whether it's the celebration of nature and its divinity, of female empowerment through the veneration of the sacred feminine, or a way to commit to climate conservation and sustainability, paganism has drawn worshippers through the ages. As well as outlining the pagan spiritual identity, including its history and development, pagan beliefs, and how the religion is practiced, this book also explores pagan deities and their associated folklore, the pagan calendar, including the 8 festivals of the Wheel of the Year, what they represent and how they are celebrated, the influence of modern paganism on popular culture, and how you can incorporate paganism into your own personal spiritual practice. I'll be honest and say that this one kind of confuses me, because paganism in itself isn't really a religion. It's more of an umbrella term. So lots of different people who follow lots of different niche religious beliefs and spiritual practices may well consider themselves pagan. So if you follow the Norse pantheon, you might consider yourself pagan. If you follow the Wiccan tradition, you might consider yourself pagan. If you practice witchcraft and say work with the goddess Bridget, you may then also consider yourself pagan. But these three things, these three traditions are among thousands of others that are all uniquely different from one another, but still fall under the umbrella of paganism. So if you were to ask 100 pagans what celebrations they carry out, a lot of them aren't going to say that they follow the 8-spoked wheel of the year that we see within Wicca. They're likely going to celebrate specific cultural or regional celebrations from where they are and from where their practice comes from. Because paganism in itself isn't really a religion, it's a descriptive umbrella. So I'm curious about this one as to where it's going to take it, because there is so much that falls under the pagan umbrella that I think it's going to be really tricky to put it in a 128-page book. But if anyone does read this, let me know. I always want to come at books with an open mind. My ideas, my thoughts, my beliefs are not everyone. I am just one individual, one practitioner. I can only speak for myself. But I'm just going to be curious as to how they're going to carry this out, because that's like a lot to fit into one small book. We then have one that I did speak about last month. This is the Bad Vibes Fieldguide, a definitive handbook for psychics and the afflicted. It's already out in the US. It's coming out on the 8th of May in the UK. Learn how to cleanse, protect yourself from, and transmute bad vibes regardless of their size or origin. Devon Hunter provides the support you need to face any energetic problem, whether you're a beginner or an experienced psychic. Each topic builds upon the preceding one, growing with you as you gain experience. This comprehensive book covers everything from dealing with unwanted ghosts to turning spiteful energy into soul nutrition. Devon shares personal stories and secrets for more than 20 years as a professional psychic medium and teacher. He covers a wide range of topics and provides quick, step-by-step procedures to tackle any issue. He also offers tools and advice for expanding your abilities as a psychic or empath. This book is packed with ways to protect yourself from and cleanse your life of bad vibes. This is one that's definitely on my I would like to get it list, even if it's just to see what it's like. We then have another that I spoke of last month. This is Wealth Witchery, Manifesting Magic, Money and Success. It's already out in the US. It's coming out on the 8th of May in the UK. The rich witch life of your dreams is within reach with this accessible guide to manifesting abundance. Wealth Witchery teaches you how to tap into your inner magic to influence the flow of money, regardless of your current circumstances or past experiences. Through success stories and her 5-step Witchcraft manifestation system, Pamela Chen encourages you to transform money energy. She offers easy-to-follow spells, exercises, and rituals, spelled RICHUALS, to welcome the vibration of wealth into your life. Focus your magic on your goals from spiritual and energetic tools such as oils, herbs, tarot cards, crystals, and moon phases. Create an abundance altar, prosperity dream board, and wealth journal. With simple daily and weekly practices, Wealth Witchery offers a magical boost every go-getter needs to live their best life. Now, I'll be really honest about this, just like I was last month. I think that there may be other more detailed books on the topic for those who want to focus on a specifically witchcraft-based practice. The idea of dream boards, abundance altars, and wealth journals very much falls in line with manifestation. This one is probably for all of my practitioners who are more manifestation-focused than witchcraft-focused. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It just means that the book might not be for everyone, especially if you want more like witchcraft-heavy content. We then have another history-focused one. This is Baphomet, History, Ritual, and Magic of the world's most famous occult icon. Discover the identity of Baphomet, how they have evolved through history, and how we work with them in our occult practice. Tracing the evolution of Baphomet through the works of Alpheus Levi, Aleister Crowley, and Peter Carroll, author Michael Osiris Snuffin explores how a mysterious name associated with the trial of the Templars became a modern pagan deity in the late 20th century. This book demystifies an often misunderstood but essential current of Stoicism, providing varied perspectives on Baphomet from diverse practitioners. The author introduces you to the 3 symbolic faces of Baphomet: the spirit of the earth, the outsider, and the transmuter, which define the deity and offer different ways to interact with them. He also shows you how to build a relationship with Baphomet through meditation, ritual, and invocation. Ooh, invocation, that's intense. This enigmatic deity will not only help you reconnect with the earth and the 5 elements, but also inspire you to change your ways and stop harming the planet. This one is definitely going to end up on my to be purchased pile. I often get asked about the history of Baphomet, and while I know a lot about kind of the modern interpretation, I really want to learn more about the history. I am curious though to see whether they mean invocation or whether they mean evocation, because invoking anything is a really dodgy thing to be doing without a lot of experience. Evoking, still a little dicey, but definitely not as bad, so I'll be curious to see. But yeah, this one looks really good to me. Do you remember what I said about some books seeming to never publish? This is one of them. This is Gardening with the Goddess by Patricia Telesco. I've already gone over this about 5 times. I'm not going to do it again. They say it's coming out on May 13th, and I'll believe it when I see it, because I guarantee this will be in next month's video as well. So clearly there's something going on here, whether it's something to do with rights, whether it's something to do with the publisher, whether it's something to do with the printing, not sure, but clearly there's something that's just not adding up here. We then have Everyday Tarot Magic, Spells and Meditations. I believe this is already out in the US. It's coming out on the 13th of May in the UK. Follow Dorothy's expertise as she guides you through each exercise and ritual, with over 140 spells, charms, and activities to choose from. Use numerology to help determine special cards, like your spirit card, your lesson card, and your personal year card. Connect with the spirit world and learn the fundamentals of tarot in this fantastic book for both the beginner and the advanced reader. Everything you need to successfully make magic with your tarot deck is found here within Everyday Tarot Magic. This one was already published in 2003, so you're not going to need to get it again if you do already have it. We then have The Way Through the Woods, the Green Witch's Guide to Navigating Life's Ups and Downs. This is coming out on the 13th of May in the US, with future dates to come. Where do we take our troubles when things get tough? In The Way Through the Woods, Green Witch Rebecca Beatty encourages us to reclaim times of great change in our lives, in relationships, work, and family, and in our bodies and selves as transformation. These are alchemical moments full of possibility. Drawing inspiration from the ebb and flow of the natural world, this is a must-have seasonal toolkit for optimizing your spiritual, bodily, and mental health. Whenever you need a helping hand, be it through grief or menopause, a new career, or finding your flow, this enchanting book is filled with nurturing rituals and wild magic to guide you. The Way Through the Woods will help you pause and reflect, to reconnect to nature and to yourself as you uncover a path towards joy and abundance. This is then followed by 2 really little books. So we have Moon Magic. This is coming out on the 15th of May in the UK and the 20th in America, as well as Pendulum Magic coming out on the 15th of May in the UK and the 20th in America. These are both mini books, and so, as I always say with mini books, it's about deciding whether the cost is actually worth the content in these books. They're not going to go super in-depth into any of the topics, so you might find that there are other more detailed books on the subject, but they do make nice gifts for people who are just getting started in their magical journey, perhaps teens or early 20s individuals who just want something that's a toe dip into a magical craft rather than something that is super historical and detailed. So, Moon Magic is quick spells inspired by the magic of the moon. One of 2 accompanying books in the Pocket Mystic series, Moon Magic explores the power of this satellite and the magic it can offer. The moon's gift to us is that we learn by reflection. Whether you are new to this understanding or already an advocate, you can take your power deeper and further by working in conjunction with the moon's energy. Using rituals and spells, it becomes possible to access this magic. For Pendulum Magic, dowsing and divination is a great way to tap into the energy of the universe, and this guide to Pendulum Magic will show you how. Managing uncertainty is a life skill, and dowsing can help us make choices that invest in our future. Showing us where to focus when life seems unpredictable or chaotic, exploring divination with a pendulum is an art and can take time to accomplish, but it's available to everyone with an open heart and an open mind. So that's those 2 books. Not going to be for everyone, but I do think the next one looks really good. This is Money Magic, a handbook of spells and charms for prosperity. Do you remember when I was saying that some books on money magic are more for manifestation and some are more for witchcraft? This one is more for witchcraft. So really, it's not that one book is going to be better than the other. It's just about deciding where you particularly fall in your craft. This is coming out on May 15th, by the way. In the UK, it's already been published in the US. I just completely missed saying that. Fret over your finances no more. Use magic to manifest a bountiful life with the help of Patricia Telesco's Money Magic. Many people feel overwhelmed by financial burden, but a good witch knows how to bring abundance back into their life using mystical means. In Money Magic, you'll learn how to do just that and more. A practical book packed with spells, charms, enchantments, and rituals designed to bring more money into your life. Learn what methods your ancestors used to summon the spirit of wealth, use food, beverages, and aromatics to create a feeling of plenty, and learn how magic can improve all areas of your life, not just your pocketbook. This was previously published in 2001. All of Patricia Telesco's works are being republished, so I would check your collection to make sure you don't already have it. We then have another history-focused book. This one isn't super cheap either, so just bear that in mind. This is coming out on the 20th of May in the UK, with future release dates to come. It is The History of Alchemy, Influences on Culture, Science, and Society. The etymological roots of alchemy are found in both the Arabic and Greek languages, and refer to the process of transmutation that leads to a complete reunion with the original divine form. However, the historic practice of alchemy stretches all the way to India and China, and has been practiced since at least the 4th century. During the Middle Ages, alchemy attracted many of the most prominent scholars of the time, strongly influenced by the classical theory of the elements. The alchemists based their hypotheses on Aristotle's idea that everything can be created through different proportions of the 4 elements. From the 19th century onwards, alchemy has been wrongly reduced to a primitive pseudoscience, with the sole aim of transmuting base metals into gold. However, this narrow interpretation ignores the true complexity of alchemy, and ignores its deep philosophical and religious aspects, as well as its crucial contribution to the development of chemistry. This richly illustrated anthology presents a diversity of perspectives on how reciprocity, metaphysical connections, and the relationship between macrocosm and microcosm form the core of the philosophy of alchemy. Some of the world's most prominent researchers and academics gather to analyse the alchemical worldview and explore how historic currents of thought have shaped culture, society, and science. That sounds so good. Sounds really heavy though, I'll be honest. So if you aren't like 350 pages into alchemy history, this probably isn't going to be for you. But if you do like the academic heavy books, this one looks really good. We then have the Magical Notary Art, Sigils, Seals, Notaries, and Signatures. This is coming out on the 20th of May in the US, with future dates to come. The art of sigil magic uses the information model of magic to generate symbols, caricatures, and pictograms that have a vested power in the super-symbolic realm. It is part of the notary methods of magic that include seals, signatures, and words of power. The Magical Notary Art is the book that brings together all elements of linguistic magic into a singular tome. It delivers practical methodology of an entire spectrum of notary art as it pertains to spirit names, pictographs, symbolic images, seals, words of power, and signatures. It is a creative and imaginative methodology that translates names, words, phrases, and ideogrammic images so they can be understood by the deities, spirits, and powers that reside within the super-symbolic domain. This book is divided into 4 parts, which covers a range of notary arts. Frater Barrabbas has written this book for the practical ritual magician and includes the methods of construction and deployment in ritual workings or as a stand-alone device. I'll be honest, that one looks really good. I would be prepared for quite a small book, though it's only 170 pages long, but it does look interesting. Now, given that just a few books ago we talked about Pendulum Magic, we have another one, and this goes way more in depth. I'm not going to tell you that one is better than the other, or that you should spend your money on one rather than the other. I'm just going to say that this one is 224 pages long, which is considerably longer than the other one. This is Pendulum Craft, your guide to using, choosing, and understanding pendulums. This is coming out on the 20th of May in the US, with future dates to come. Pendulums are a fixture in the metaphysical world. They are tools for decision-making, but they can be so much more. Pendulums are a physics equation made magic. They allow our bodies and other realms to communicate through otherwise indiscernible vibrations. These are magical tools that hold massive potential for how to divine information and connect on a deeper level. This book is an expansive, useful guide to using pendulums, not just for divination, but for introspection, experimentation, and channeling messages from the beyond. In addition to a deep dive into the history and uses of pendulums, from water witching to folk healing, from the science of ideomotor reactions to the pendulum's function as a tool of the occult, the author covers different types of pendulums, including how to make them and how to select one from a store. They also cover how to connect with and calibrate a pendulum, how to trust inner knowing, and finally, how to store them. And finally, how to work with a pendulum board to ask the right questions. There are also black and white illustrations to show the fundamentals of pendulums and how it has been used through history. This book includes a selection of pendulum boards for different kinds of questions, which can be pulled out of the book. Do you see what I mean? This is what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you see a book and you think, oh, that's on a topic I really want to learn more about. I have to get it. And you wait a little bit and another one comes along that might be even better. And to me, I would go for this one. Personally, I'm not going to tell you which one to get, but I would personally go for this one. We then have The Language of Magic, Transform Reality Through Words, Magical Symbols, and Sigils. So if you like the idea of Notary Magic by Frater Barrabbas, this one is an even more in-depth version. So that one was, 170 pages? This one is 352. You might find that the smaller one is more what you're after than this one is. This one is coming out on May 22nd in the UK with future dates to come. In this illuminating and deeply informative guide, practicing magician Toby Chappell takes readers on a journey into the heart of what it means to transform reality by exploring what magic is. He explains that operative magic works because it is communication. The practitioner of magic is communicating with the unmanifest to align the outside world with their inner transformations, desires, and needs. Drawing on linguistics and the analytical techniques of semiotics, the author explores how we perceive and affect the world by treating it like a partner in communication. He shows how the notion of magical communication appears in ancient practice, looking specifically at Hermetic magic and the spells of Greek magical papyri, sigil magic, Enochian magic, and runes. He explains how the symbol building necessary to effectively transform your inner and outer reality with magical speech, signs, and symbols. The author examines the languages of magic in contemporary New Thought practices, and he also looks at magical communication in several modern and postmodern schools of magic, including the Thelema and the teachings of Aleister Crowley, the Church of Satan, Chaos Magic, and the Temple of Set. Revealing how to apply techniques of effective communication to the magical realm, the author shows how you can deepen your understanding of magical practice and ultimately perform magic with greater success. So it's like similar, but different. It's like the same thing, just in a different font, and I really appreciate that. Like, some people might think that that's repetitive, but I think seeing how different individuals will apply things in different ways is so incredibly useful. We then have one that's already out in America. This is Instruments of the Craft, Mastering the 4 Tools of the Witch. It's coming out on May 25th in the UK. Embark on a transformative journey into the tools of the witch. The Pentacle, Wand, Athame, and Chalice. Uncover the mysteries of the elements, master the art of ritual casting, and harness the power of these sacred implements to unlock your magical potential. Dive into the mystical world of magic and Instruments of the Craft, a groundbreaking guide that brings the wisdom of Raven Gramassi's beloved correspondence course right to your doorstep. This user-friendly book gives you the secrets to mastering the classic tools of the craft, along with the elemental energies that fuel them. Deepen your connection with the 4 elements and discover how they shape your magical practice. Uncover the unique qualities of each element, their significance in casting ritual circles, and their influence on the magical tools you use. As you explore each tool, you'll learn practical techniques to prepare, charge, and wield them effectively in your rituals. Geared for beginners, Instruments of the Craft provides a foundational knowledge and skills to work with the tools of the witch. Not only will it help you understand how these tools work, but it will show you how to make them work for you. So I like and appreciate the fact that this is very much for beginners, and it's not a big book either. It's very accessible. It's only 130 pages. That's very doable for a lot of people, compared to some books on the topic where they'll be like 300, 400 pages. We then have The Tarot Architect, How to Become the Master Builder of Your Spiritual Temple. This is coming out on the 25th of May in the UK, with future dates to come. For many, the tarot serves as a compass, illuminating the path to their true will and guiding them towards destiny. If you've ever felt stuck or unsure on which way to turn, the tarot offers a beacon, revealing unseen opinions and providing clarity on difficult decisions. The Tarot Architect is a transformative journey into the arcane world of tarot that guides you through the depths of tarot with a unique blend of scholarship and humour, transforming your understanding of self and universe alike. Filled with guided meditations, correspondences, and thought-provoking exercises that will enrich your practice and ignite your spiritual evolution. The exploration doesn't stop at tarot, but dives into the history behind it, as well as its importance in Western mystery traditions such as Hermeticism. Venture forth into the beautiful world of Kabbalah and learn about the spirits within the cards. You will discover how to interact with the cards, whether new to the tarot or an experienced reader, along with learning the unique colours, basic symbolism of each of the 78 tarot cards, and simple ritual exercises designed to activate and integrate the spiritual forces resident in each individual card. By the end of the book, you'll bring together all the knowledge you'll learn to create your own tarot deck, a tangible reflection of your journey and a tool for continued spiritual growth and divinatory practice. Yes, and this is what I'm talking about. When people ask me, can I make my own tarot cards? Of course you can. You definitely can. But it's important to remember that when we're looking at especially things like the Rider-Waite-Smith system, these are cards with deep-rooted symbolism. They're connected to things beyond just what the imagery shows. And so a book like this could be a really useful stepping stone because it lets you know kind of why things are used, why the imagery, why the colours, why the symbols. And then when it comes to making your own deck, you can choose which of those, any or all of them, that you want to include in your own deck. Really, really useful. But it's not the only tarot book in this video. There is at least one more. Yes, later on, there's at least one more. We then have another by Pagan Portals. This is Mabon, Discovering the Celtic God of Hunting, Healing and Harp. This is coming out in the UK on the 27th of May with future dates to come. Is Mabon a Celtic sun god or a harvest festival? Is he both, or neither? This book takes a deep dive into the myths and origins of this enigmatic and multifaceted deity, bringing his neglected aspects to life while offering ways to work with him today. From the wild hunt to the shores of the otherworld, the Roman Gaul to southern Scotland, discover the many faces of Mabon. Really good. As always, I will warn you that Pagan Portal books are very small, but that's all you need on some topics if you don't want a super deep dive into them. We then have two that I will go over very, very swiftly because once again, these haven't published yet. We've seen these two books be repeated over and over and it just seems like they never quite make it. The first is Irish Witches, Magicians and Fairies by Michael Howard. I was so excited about this one. I'm sure so many others of you were too, and it just never seems to publish. It's meant to be coming out on the 27th of May. I can almost guarantee that this will be in next month's video as well. We then have Vestica Basta, A Witch's Garden. This is also meant to be coming out on the 27th of May. I'm not going very much into these because I've covered them at least 4 times a piece, I think. It's a shame because it looks really, really good, but it just doesn't seem like it's ever going to come out. We then have another that I'm really, really excited about, but I'm nervous about whether it's going to publish or not. This is West Country Witches by Michael Howard. Now, the Irish Witches hasn't come out yet, but now we're getting another book. This is also by Three Hands Press, another book publishers where the books are very, very hard to get hold of, but it looks so good. I'm so hopeful. This is meant to be coming out on the 27th of May. The West Country of England, encompassing the counties of Devon, Cornwall, Somerset, Wiltshire and Dorset, is a region rich in legend, lore and folk magic. Included in these practices was the diabolical art of witchcraft, empowered by traffic with demons and land spirits, and heir to such practice as owl blinking or casting a curse by means of the evil eye. The second volume of Michael Howard's Witchcraft in the British Isles series examines the historical practices and characters of the West Country, their connections with the land and their enduring legacy in the modern era. Among the many colourful practitioners examined are necromancer Tamsin Blight, Reverend Harris Hennott and Madame Joan Carn, as well as the Cornish witch Granny Boswell. Also examined is the magic of West Country charmer Cecil Williamson, the founder of the Museum of Witchcraft. This is the Museum of Witchcraft in Boscastle. Legendary man. First published in 2010 in hardcover, the second edition is newly designed and illustrated with 10 illustrations. So, in which case, it might be best to look for the initial version just in case. Just have it as a backup. This one does look really beautiful. 3 hands pressed books are usually really, really well done. It's just with all of the issues that we're seeing at the minute with publishing, I'm very, very dubious of most books now. Like, I know that might seem really extreme, but we've had so many books struggle to print. I'm hoping that this one comes out, and I hope that it is beautiful. I'm sure that it will be. This is The Devils Ointment, A History of Unguents in European Magic and Witchcraft by Corinne Boyer. I love Corinne Boyer's work, so this one is definitely going on my to-be-read pile. This is meant to be coming out on the 27th of May in the US. I believe it's already released in the UK. In the historical records of European witchcraft, one of the most notorious allegations against the accused was the use of a magical salve to gain power of nocturnal flight. Rubbed on the body, it was said to be compounded of toxic herbs, animals, and noxious constituents such as human fat, and could affect travel by a witch over great distances. According to legend, the ointment or the instructions for its manufacture were given to the witch directly by the devil himself in the midst of their frenzied sabbats. Despite the persistence of these features of the witch's ointment in lore, actual recipes for it were rare and often speculative. Initially, the obsession of clerical and legal authorities, then the writers on natural magic, the ointment continued to perplex researchers well into the Age of Enlightenment. In more recent times, it has become the fascination of pharmacological speculation, psychology, entheogenic theory, and occult experiment. Despite the curiosity it has generated over the centuries, the mystery of the witch's ointment abides. It looks so good. It looks really, really good. I'm really looking forward to this one. And then I said that there were going to be more tarot books. So are these both coming out? Yeah, they're both coming out on the same day. So they're both coming out on the 27th of May in the US with future dates to come. So the first is you will be able to read tarot by the end of this book. I like the confidence there. Incorporating beautiful botanical illustrations of all the cards in the minor and major arcana, alongside the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, this is a straightforward guide to everything you need to know about reading tarot, from a basic understanding of what each card means to all the way to detailed readings to enrich your everyday life. Using flowers as an accessible, engaging starting point into tarot makes this the perfect handbook for navigating the centuries-old practice. I think that's a very bold claim. That's all I'll say on that one. You may well. Some people pick it up really, really quickly. For some people, they really, really struggle. And to make that the title of your book is bold. We then have Tarot for Skeptics, the practical usage of divination for psychic results. This book will take you from tarot beginner to a professional level of reading without asking you to relinquish your skepticism or requiring you to adopt a magical belief system. It gets deep into the psychological and nature of symbolism, storytelling, counselling, our intuition, and what is and isn't going on with psychic phenomena. By the end of this book, you will not only be a tarot expert, but also have a deep understanding of what divination can and cannot do. It contains complete comparisons between Rider-Waite-Smith, Crowley's Thoth, and the Marseille decks, in-depth descriptions of every card, a complete history of tarot and its relationship with playing cards, and magic, example readings with each deck, in a selection of spreads, and much more. And once again, I will say it, that is bold. A very, very bold claim, given that the majority of professional tarot readers only became professional after years, sometimes decades, of practicing tarot for themselves and their friends. And I am not sure how I feel about it. I think the book in itself sounds really interesting. I think it could be really, really useful. It does make me concerned, though, that we're potentially going to end up with a lot of tarot readers, not just as a result of this book, just as a general thing, where they start learning tarot and a week later they're offering paid for readings. A book like this could definitely make you proficient at the tarot. And if you're very skeptical, this one could be the perfect read for you. I think that there's a difference, though, between being proficient and being professional. They're not the same thing to me. And so I think it's just really important to bear in mind that, especially when we're offering like paid for services, that we need to be careful with what we offer and how we are offering ourselves up. Right, we then have one that I definitely spoke about last month. This is A Curiosity of Folklore, Magic and Spells, a Witchcraft and Folklore anthology for spring 2025 and beyond. Now, interestingly, it's only coming out in America on the 27th of May, which I think is really, really strange that this is designed for spring 2025 and beyond, but it's not really coming out in super spring-like weather. Like, we're nearly in June by the time this comes out. But this is already released in the UK. Discover simple magic, heirloom recipes, and forgotten fairy tales in this eclectic treasury. The 12 chapters, representative of the calendar year, present the celebrations, superstitions, and folklore that shape our year. From cherished traditions like Valentine's Day to the lost excitement of May Day, A Curiosity of Folklore, Magic and Spells reveals a calendar bursting with history, imagination, and curious facts. Take a closer look at your favourite homespun rituals and the magic we conjure every day. Make a candle wish, mix a moon oil elixir, and hang your romantic hopes on the predictions of an apple peel. This sumptuous volume will appeal to the creative and curious alike. And it does sound really, really good. Right, we only have 2 left. We're nearing the end now. This one is not going to be for everyone, but I thought I'd include it because it seems really interesting. This is The Way of the Secret Temple, a 3rd manual of occult training. Now, this is coming out on May 27th in the US. I'm not sure of any release dates in the UK, but I'll let you know on the screen if I can find anything. Now, as it's mentioned, this is a 3rd volume. There are others, and these are self-guided teaching courses, essentially. So they're not super cheap, but I thought I would offer it up anyway. In the 3rd volume of his popular series of textbooks for students of the Western mystery tradition, John Michael Greer conducts training for a self-taught course for students to advance to the 3rd degree of the Golden Section Fellowship. Building on the lessons and meditations of the Way of the Golden Section and the Way of the 4 Elements, Greer presents an accessible guide for students to comprehend and access more of their own inner capabilities, bringing them closer to and allowing them to experience for themselves the transcendent spiritual realities at the heart of things. Drawing on teachings from the Universal Gnostic Church, American occult teachings, and temple tradition, The Way of the Secret Temple is divided into 7 circles of studies and practices, each taking at least a month to complete. Students embarking on this course will become proficient in working with sacred geometry and temple design, using palm centers to heal and bless, fulfilling the duties of each of the 5 minor orders of the Universal Gnostic Church, and will develop their skills of communicating with the spirits of the elements, as well as much more. So this is kind of its own set tradition that's teaching you as you go through it. Not going to be for everyone, but if this is something you've wanted to look into, these could be something to check out. Obviously, start at the first one and move forwards. And finally, we have Unveiling the Green, working astrologically, alchemically, and psychologically with plants. This is coming out on May 27th in the US, with future release dates to come. Using a blend of scientific research and a stoic wisdom, Sean Sibley invites readers to reevaluate their relationship with nature, the green, exploring why an enduring connection to the natural world is essential for human health and psychology, as well as for our continued existence on the planet. Based on Sibley's unique magical system and her own relationship with her green friends, Unveiling the Green presents a series of meditative and psychic practices that will allow readers to meet plant spirits as they truly are, drawing on the teachings of the Welsh mystic Charubel, I'm hoping that's right, as well as the work of herbalist Nicholas Culpeper. The book explores alchemical praxis and astrological connections to plants, teaching how to create medicines, gateway tinctures, and plant sigils in order to deepen relationships with the green realm. In a modern environment that increasingly neglects the natural world, Unveiling the Green is a refreshing reminder to reconnect with our plant allies and walk the green path. This book will guide readers in building a reciprocal relationship with nature, showing how this benefits not only the planet, but also our individual contentment and well-being. Yes, that sounds really, really good. Really like the look of it. It's a short one, it's only 158 pages, it's fairly accessible. That one looks interesting. And we're done. I'm just going to sink for a minute. I've been filming for a long time. There's a lot coming out this month. I have my favourites. You will likely have noticed them as we've gone through. I would love to know which ones are your favourites. And let me know if you've read any of the other books we've spoken about in the past. What do you think about things? Let's have a chit chat in the comment section. And if you've got all the way to the end, please put some book emojis in the comment section, and I'm going to try to heart as many of them as I can. If you've enjoyed this, please give it a like. It means a lot to me. Like, these are so hefty, and I'm never sure how they're going to come across, whether people are going to think they're just too long. I'm not sure, but if you do enjoy them, let me know by giving it a like. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the comment section. And if you enjoy the magical content on this channel or in this video, feel free to hit subscribe. I try to post magical content every single week. And with that being said, I hope you're staying safe. I hope you have a marvelous magical day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!